Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Our host, Brian Duprey, is the world's most sought-after childcare coach, having helped tens of thousands of childcare owners from around the globe take their business to the next level. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, our host, Brian Duprey.
Hi, welcome to Childcare Genius Podcast Training Series. Brian Duprey here with Michael Braswell, VP of Coaching at Childcare Genius. How you doing, Michael?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm excited to have you back on the podcast for another training. We're going to talk today about frugality, being tight with your money. Do you handle the money at your school?
I do.
You do. So do you like to spend, or are you kind of tight with your spending?
It's amazing. It's like as I grew up through my career and actually started making money, when you used to walk through a Best Buy and be like, I want that, I want that, I want that. But then when you start accumulating wealth, and it's like, okay, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. It's just a different mindset. And so, yeah, I absolutely, to this point, don't like spending money.
So, we coach, and you and I have visited schools, around this country. So we've been touring schools. And I've been doing it for a long time. I've toured hundreds and hundreds of them, and I've seen a vast array from $400,000 playgrounds to playgrounds that look like spend $1,000 on, and I've seen kids play on both playgrounds that look like they're having just as much fun. So sometimes it doesn't matter how much money we're spending. At the end of the day, sometimes it doesn't translate to what the kids' experience comes out of it. Have you seen the same thing?
I have, and actually, I'm only 4 years into being an owner. So, I remember when I first bought the center, I wanted to buy a new this, I wanted to buy a new that, I wanted to buy a new this. And it just seeing over the years what everybody else is doing and seeing different centers across the country, I realized I don't need this or that. And, at the end of the day, I've got to really concentrate and think, okay, if I do buy that, what's my return? That's the biggest thing I'm thinking about now is, yeah, it would be nice to have, but at the same time, what kind of return am I going to get out of it? And so half the time, if it's really nothing and it's just an amenity, then you really got to consider, okay, is it really needed?
Okay, so let's just say you're not the Saks Fifth Avenue of childcare in your market. You're not at the high. There are a couple high-end franchises out there. We all know who they are.
Yep.
And if you're not playing with the big boys and girls, at that level, you might be in the mid-range. And that's where I'd say 90% of childcare centers around the country are in that mid-price range. They're not on the high end. They're not on the low end. They're right in that sweet spot middle. Well, you need to look to see what your competitors have in that sweet spot. Stop looking at the top to see, they've got this $100,000 splash pad in the back of their thing. I need to keep up with them. You're not. People who are touring them aren't touring you. So you need to find out where your sweet spot is to know what your competitors have. And I'm not saying you have to keep up with them, but it's good to know what they have in their programs. What do you think about that?
No, I just key example this past week. It's summertime, summer program starting, so Splash Day started again. With licensing, we used to have them out on the basketball courts. Well, new policy, can't have it on any concrete, slippery surface, hard surface patios. So we moved it to the grassy areas. Well, those splash pads that we were getting that fill up with water don't really do well on uneven surfaces. So I started thinking, okay, well, let's price out a splash pad. And then I went for that day just to solve the problem. Went to Home Depot, bought a couple sprinklers, already had the hoses down there, set it up in the lawn area. The kids had a blast. And so it made me realize that they're having fun regardless. The children, within our program, we do infant through pre-K. And so, they're not old enough to really, they're just excited to be doing something different, and it's fun. They're getting wet. They're playing with their friends. And so, is it really worth the $45,000, $60,000 splash pad, or is it worth the $15 sprinkler? So that's where I'm kind of, coming along those thoughts. Now, one of the other ideas is, okay, the basketball pad. Well, the basketball pad is all cement. We don't really use it for anything, because we're infant to pre-K. So it's that they ride their tricycles, everything else. So now we're actually exploring the avenue of putting a rubberized splash pad material down over the the existing basketball court cement area and actually making it tri-colored with pathways for the tricycles and everything else like that. So we can relatively make our own splash pad because we're still using sprinklers and everything else like that, just making the surface better. So that was something that I just kind of thought of, and we're pricing that out right now.
That's smart. Probably save you $30,000-$40,000, which is a great savings. So you have to think outside the box sometimes, and that is great outside the box thinking. Yeah, it'd be nice to keep up to show it off to a parent, but to a parent, they're like, can the kids play on a sprinkler system and have fun? They don't care if it's the super deluxe. Only we know the value of that. Kid get to play in it, that's perfectly fine. Keeping in mind that cash is now king. And we're going to be probably going into recession in 25 or 26. It's just inevitable. It happens every 10 years. We're overdue. We're probably already there now. We're in an inflationary recession. So you want to conserve as much cash as you can because you never know what can happen. And going out and spending money on things right now is probably not the smartest thing when you should be holding on to cash and saving it. And also, there's a lot of states that have grants for stuff. I don't know about splash pads, but I've seen several people in New Jersey and Nevada recently get grants to help improve their facilities in their schools. So I just say, yeah, if the state will give you money or the federal government gives you money, then yeah, I'm all for that if it's not coming out of your pocket, but just be a little bit more frugal with that. How do you think inflation has helped hurt business owners when it comes to getting new equipment?
Well, it's just the price of everything is up. I mean, it's just you have to double think and really think again. Okay, yes, is it a need or a want? I mean, that's just, and during this period that's how I classify everything. Yes, it would be nice to have, however, is it an absolute need? And I'm really only buying needs right now. I think when cash is flush and prices come back down, then okay, yeah, we can buy some wants. But for right now, I'm just focusing on needs.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, inflation has definitely eaten into a lot. Your buying power is a lot less. If we come off, usually in a recession, prices drop. So if you have cash on the sidelines, that's time to pick the ups. And remember, you don't have to buy new stuff.
Yes.
This is, I wrote this in Child Care Millionaire. Your center is full of used equipment. Everything you own is used. Once you drop it out of that box and a kid spits on it, breathes on it, pukes on it, gets some boogers on it, that is used equipment. And that's in your school right now. So if I took whoever's listening to this, if I came into your school right now and grabbed something out of your school and put it in mine, it was good enough for your school. Why can't it be good enough for my school?
Oh, yeah.
So think about it that way. If something's good enough, a lot of times you can get darn near brand new stuff from other people's schools and get it for 10 cents on the dollar.
Oh, yeah.
You're spending six figures furnishing your classrooms with furniture that you could buy for $10,000 on market. Save that 90 grand. I've had clients buy tractor trailer full of centers going out of business, saving 6 figures worth of money. I've done it myself. But there's this mindset out there that used is substandard.
Yeah, and I would find that completely wrong because I mean, ultimately, and a lot of it is even just keeping up to date in a lot of these Facebook pages and marketplace. I got 4 really awesome round preschool tables from a private school that was eliminating their pre-K program. So, and I got them for free. So, and they're awesome tables, probably 500 plus each. So, you can really find those deals. And again, furniture is furniture. As long as it's safe and it's structurally sound, I mean, and you can pick it up for $50 versus $500. That's what keeps us in business, especially as we're having to do more regulations and other things that are, happening to our industry. I mean, we need to be able to cut costs any way we can.
You know what? I thought you and I toured a school last week that they had that PVC attached into I don't know how, what was that, like a countertop almost. They made tables and they made them very inexpensive.
Oh, and they came out nice. It was almost like an acrylic plastic round tabletop, and then you flip it over, and the base was just made out of 3-inch PVC, and it was all painted white, and it was all white, so it was just looked like it was bought that way, but very inexpensive to do.
And taking what would be new, probably a $300, $400 table that probably cost them $50 to make.
Yes.
And smart business. That's $350 cash savings that you can invest in your program. Now, the only area where you shouldn't skimp is your curriculum. Yeah. That's the one area you do want to be the best in your area because that's your selling point. The kids learn. But when the kids are at play, they can play on used equipment. They can play on a used splash pad. They don't have to have the top-notch play area as long as you got good, padding and protection or wood chips or whatever. It doesn't really matter what equipment you have on there. Kids, you could throw a box out there and they would have fun.
Yeah, because I mean, even around our area, we have those centers that are the prime tip top. And I'm not putting any of that down. If you have a center like that, that's great. It's beautiful. That's awesome. Some of us aren't that fortunate. So when you look at some of the other programs, you realize we've never lost parents because we didn't have the brand new stuff. I mean, what the parents want is, making sure that the facility is safe. Is it clean? You look at the basics of the core caring values that we have, and that's what the parents look for. Yeah, it's nice to sometimes have the bells and whistles, but that also comes at a cost.
It does. And sometimes parents aren't willing to pay $67 a week more just for that, $300,000 playground when they could save that money and you put it in your pocket. And at the end of the day, you'll have more money and be better off. And the kids are going to be just as happy either way. That's all that matters. So anything else you want to add?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. I think one of the other things is also when you look at general maintenance and how you do things. One little tip that I saw at one of the centers that we toured last week was, I'm getting ready to repaint. I'm having to repaint, this because after about 3 or 4 years, the paint job starts looking a little grungy, grubby hands all on the walls. You know how it goes. So we toured this school that had a chair rail and then had this fiberglass paneling that just looked beautiful. I mean, it was gorgeous all the way up to a chair rail. And it was a type of material that could be easily wiped off and cleaned and never have to be painted. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing, because now I won't have to paint every 3 or 4 years. So start thinking about things like that as well. I mean, because a paint job for your entire center, you're looking at a 7,000 square foot facility. That's a big chunk of change, especially, I mean, if you've priced out a gallon of paint lately, that's just, it's crazy. But anyhow, I just wanted to bring that last one up.
Yeah, we just painted a 6,000 square foot building, so I know the cost involved. And we actually did it ourselves through our maintenance team. It's expensive to paint, especially when you pay things out there. So yeah, that's a great hack, great tip in there. So, so I hope you've enjoyed talking about frugality, and it's a subject that some people are embarrassed to talk about. We're not embarrassed to talk about a Child Care Genius. We're going to try to give you tips and tools, put money back in your pocket. There's other resources for you at childcaregenius.com/resources. Go there, and if we can help you out, go ahead and reach out. So this is Brian Duprey and Michael Braswell signing off. Hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your child care business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Child Care Genius community.